City University of New York professor, better known as CUNY, professor of law, Jeffrey Lachs. Jeff, are you surprised? Number one, he won the nomination, and number two, this is one of the ideas he's touting.
I'm disappointed he won the nomination. We talked about this on your radio show a while back. It's stunning and it's very upsetting.
At that time, I never thought he had a chance. He was down by 30 points.
Yeah, none of us really did. But obviously, the grocery store idea is beyond, I mean, it's communism. I don't know what else to say. It is pure communist ideology. I grew up my entire life hearing about those kinds of grocery stores. I remember it is entrenched in my brain how my mother had to pick what she wanted to get. Like, they had certain vegetables on certain days. They had strawberries 2 weeks during the year in communist Romania, where my mom grew up. Of course it doesn't work. And by the way, Chicago did the same thing. Brad Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, also government-owned grocery stores. Guess what? The Chicago Tribune wrote an op-ed telling New York, an op-ed to New Yorkers saying, do not vote this guy in. He's even more extreme than Brad Johnson. And our financial situation in Chicago has never been worse. And Brad Johnson, Brian, this is shocking, has the lowest approval rating of any politician in the history of America, mayor of Chicago.
And he has earned it.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if this guy wins, he's talking about who's going to put his school chancellor. Mamdani has an idea. It looks like Jamaal Bowman, the failed congressman who's now lost 2 or 3 times to Lawler. He won once, and he's famed for to pull the fire alarm.
Yeah.
But he is a former grammar school principal. What kind of job would he do?
This is a guy who was denied that women were raped on October 7th in Israel because they were Israelis. That's all you have to know, but that's not all about him. First of all, the public school system in New York right now is a disaster. The UFT is the teachers union for New York City teachers. They are associated with the NEA. The NEA is the one that put out the statement completely disconnecting themselves from the ADL. Now, I'm not a huge ADL fan because they're way too political on the left. I don't like that. Shouldn't be political. But as a Jewish person, for the NEA, who's very strongly associated through a group called NICET with the UFT, to be cutting themselves off
Crazy.
From the ADL, Jamaal Bowman will support that, and Jews will flee like you've never seen.
So I got to bring you to now Columbia University in talks now to try to save $400 million in their funding from the federal government with the Trump administration. Mahmoud Khalil is one of the first to be picked up, the 33-year-old graduate student from Columbia, Palestinian-born, who came to this country and very critical of Israel, leading the protests at Columbia, was detained in a ICE facility, and now is out to speak out, and now talks about how he views Hamas, a group he was accused of supporting. Let's listen together as he denies his relationship or his homage to Hamas. Listen.
Just to be clear here, though, do you specifically condemn Hamas, a designated terrorist organization in the United States, not just for their actions on October 7th?
I condemn the killing of all civilians, full stop. But what I don't want to get into is no, I am very clear with condemning all civilians. I'm very straight in my position in that part. But it's disingenuous to ask about condemning Hamas while Palestinians are the ones being starved now by Israel.
He was doing at Columbia. He was for Hamas. Didn't he just say that?
I want to put a fine point on the way he said what he said. He said he condemns, not Hamas, he condemns the killing of civilians. He does not consider Israelis civilians because every Israeli is required to serve in the IDF. That's why he said that. And I want to say something else. He comes to D.C. and he meets with, 7 Democratic politicians?
Bernie Sanders, Tlaib, Omar, Presley, McGovern, Troy Carter, Summerlee.
Right. And what is he telling them? He's scorching Israel, scorching Jews, affecting. So Marco Rubio has every right. And then he goes to CNN, right? And he does this. And then he gets detained. So what is he doing? He's impacting American policy. Witkoff was just sent abroad to negotiate a ceasefire and a hostage release deal with Israel and the Palestinians. And this guy is speaking against it 1 day before.
Unbelievable.
Rubio was fully within his rights to say, hey, no more green card.
He clearly lied on his student application.
Yeah.
And he clearly lied when he was applying for his green card. It's a matter of time before I think he's scooped up again. Jeff Lachs, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
I hope.